I've been accused more than once of being the guy that can fix anything. The truth is, I usually don't know anything special about the vehicle before I start. I just follow the same three-step thinking process every single time. Welcome to GrimmBilt. Why pay someone to screw it up when you can screw it up yourself? Maybe even learn something in the process. One of the biggest differences between an experienced technician and a struggling technician, it's not intelligence, it's consistency. See, good techs don't bounce from idea to idea. They follow the same mental structure over and over and over again. See, and once you understand that structure, speed's is naturally going to show up. Not because you're rushing, but because you're not wasting any motion. So the first step is you want to identify the symptom. And not like a wild guess or because somebody already threw a part at it, but the actual symptom. For example, misfires under a load, or overheats at an idle, or stalls intermittently. But whatever the symptom is, you need to know before you put hands on the vehicle. The symptom itself usually stays the same. What changes is your understanding of it. Keep in mind, if your diagnostic direction changes because somebody gave you a new opinion, you might not be following the process anymore. Second step is figure out which primary system is involved. Not necessarily the failed component, and not necessarily the only system that can cause that particular symptom, but the system that's most directly responsible for creating that condition. And that becomes your starting direction, not your conclusion. No start concern, start with starting system and power distribution system. Lean condition, start with air induction system and fuel system. Overheating, start with a cooling system. The point is not to assume, the point is to narrow the field intelligently. Because at the end of the day, diagnostics is just controlled elimination. And this is just another way speed will naturally start to show up. And not because you guessed faster, but because you stopped looking everywhere all at once. And the third step is verify before you conclude. This is the step that a lot of people like to skip and just start playing part starts. Real diagnostics requires verification. If you think the fuel pump's bad, prove it. You think there's a mechanical issue, prove it. If you think a sensor's lying to you, prove it. Data first, conclusion second, not the other way around. And that's where this gets interesting, because that exact process works on nearly everything. Doesn't matter if it's mechanical, electrical, a no start, a drivability issue. See, the vehicle changes, but the process doesn't change. That's why a technician who's never seen something before can still walk up and figure it out. It's because they're not memorizing repairs, they're sticking to a process. And once you build that structure, eventually you'll stop reacting to problems and start recognizing them. That's when diagnostics starts to become a little predictable. And that is where the job starts to really get fun. If you enjoy this content, like, subscribe, or just roast me in the comments. Whatever, man. Be a good time for everyone.